So when I was researching for this video, I happened to look at the exact dictionary definition of the word despair. The word means the complete loss or absence of hope, and I could think of no better word to describe the new Goosebumps series. I've watched 10 episodes of this godforsaken show and struggled through every minute of it. I'm not sure if the show is now finished, but I hope to God that it is. Usually when I watch a show even this bad, I can still manage to finish it, just to get it out of the way. And trust me, I've done that a lot with terrible shows. Looking at you, Ryan Murphy. But why is Goosebumps bad, you ask? What makes this one stand head and shoulders above the rest of these atrocious shows? Well, let's take a look. First, let me just start by saying that I'm a huge Goosebumps fan. I loved the 90s show through better and worse, and when the more recent movies came out, I enjoyed the first one as just a bit of fun to keep you entertained for an hour and a half. And to me, that's all Goosebumps really was, because that's all it was trying to be. Entertaining. The new show that came out on Disney Plus recently is the complete opposite, however. I found the show to be a social commentary readying blow after blow to deliver to the audience. No matter what your beliefs and opinions, it was clear from the get-go that the story came second. I really wanted to enjoy the show because it was an IP that I'd grown up with. How could I not like it? But then again, Disney has a track record of ruining all of the established IPs that they own. With Goosebumps, I wholeheartedly believe that the show was bad on purpose. Why would the writers purposefully make such a terrible show? Well, I'm not sure. But I highly doubt that something this terrible could slip through so many people's hands on accident. It's not like American Horror Story, where the show slowly ruined itself as time went on, and in my opinion it was never really that great. But Goosebumps always used to have something going for it. Even when an episode from the 90s show was bad, you still got the sense that the writers were at least trying and they didn't just hit the mark on that episode. But in the new show, every episode, one after another, is just awful. There's barely any story, instead replaced by the kids' day-to-day lives and family drama, which the fans were just screaming out for. Each episode revolves around one of the books. For example, the first episode is based on the book Say Cheese and Die, where a haunted camera shows how the person in the photograph is going to die. Seems like a cool concept, but just one thing. They barely show the camera in the episode. I think it's shown once or twice and isn't really made the main plot device, if you will. Instead, we watch the main guy just worry about his relationships and his future. Yeah, this is supposed to be Goosebumps, remember? I think, all in all, the camera takes around 2 photos. One of a girl having an allergic reaction to peanuts, which is the stupidest thing I think I've witnessed in a while. She has an allergy and she goes to order something from the vending machine, but the ghost knocks a Snickers or something out of the machine and she eats that instead. So, yeah, that was dumb. Anyway, she survives when the main character finds her and uses an EpiPen. The next, and the last, I believe, photo that gets taken is of the main character during a football game, and he has a messed up arm. Yeah, that's it. The photo captures him with a broken arm. Wow. Very threatening. So, anyway, he breaks his arm and is really sad about it. The end. So, that's the whole plot of the first episode. And the next, and the next, and so on. Every episode feels like a watered down and half-hearted, we forgot what we were doing halfway through type of thing. Well, the plot doesn't really advance at all, and the haunted items are basically no threat whatsoever, so they barely take up any runtime of the episode. It's more like say cheese and experience mild discomfort. The show has a fairly large cast of characters, with around 6 teens and 4 adults playing major roles in the story. So with 10 characters, you'd think that the story would have at least taken a moment to establish these characters, but you'd be wrong. If you think that the writers would take the time to show us what makes the characters tick, what motivates them, what drives them, their imperfections, etc., then we might at least have something going for them. However, there's very few things that we learn about the characters in depth beyond 1 or 2 of the things they like. I won't go into huge detail about each one, but I can tell you that after watching what felt like 100 episodes of this godforsaken show, but what was actually only 10, I still don't know a single character's name. Not to mention that each actor is pretty forgettable too. None of them really stood out to me, except for 2 that actually seemed like they wanted to be there. One thing, the only thing, I can give this show, is that it's sort of nice to see Justin Long in something again. I haven't seen the guy since Jeepers Creepers. Overall though, almost every actor was horrible, seeming like they were, in real time, regretting taking the part while spewing absolute nonsense from their mouths. If you thought that the acting was the worst part, let's just talk about the writing. Wow. Just wow. I never knew it was possible to create a story with more gaps than a politician's promises. While watching the show, I would take notes of things I thought stood out to me. More often than not, those were stupid things that happened because the writers have never written anything more complex than a Christmas card. Throughout the show, I always felt the characters would always go and do something completely stupid, and the villain would get the upper hand until he does something stupid, and then the main characters would win. This is the most common thing for a writer to do when they've written themselves into a wall and they aren't smart enough to write themselves out coherently. For example, when one character in the first episode runs out of a party along with everyone else due to the owner coming home, and she runs into the woods by herself for no reason whatsoever, and then lands up finding a ghost, or later on, when a woman tells a crazy story about worms attacking her, which is completely true, and in that very same day, she's imprisoned in a mental institute. I could go on, but I won't bore you any more than you probably already are. Nevertheless, do I recommend this show? No, absolutely not. The show will take around 8 hours to finish, and I'm quite sure you could spend that time on something more fulfilling in your life. This show is truly the result of a large amount of people gathered to make something that they all despise. The show never has any moment where you get the sense that the writers or actors were really enjoying what they were doing. Overall, I truly believe Goosebumps 2023 to be a soulless remake and a tragedy to the author's name. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Please remember to like and sub if you enjoyed the video. Go check out my other stuff too. See you next time.